Well, good morning, brother, and welcome to another daily devotional. This morning we're reading again from Revelation chapter 2 and thinking about some of the words that Jesus spoke through the Apostle John to this church in the 1st century AD in Asia Minor. And the words that we want to focus on this morning are from verse number 3, where Jesus says, "I know you are enduring patiently and bearing up for my name's sake, and you have not grown weary." I wonder, have you as a Christian ever grown weary of the Christian life? Maybe you've been in circumstances where you have felt that it's really tough being a Christian. It's really hard keeping on going. The demands seem very high, and it seems as though everything's pressing on all around you. And perhaps in such circumstances, you have felt like throwing in the towel. You've heard that little voice in your head encouraging you just to pack it all in and go back to your former way of life. Well, these Christians in Ephesus faced a similar temptation. They were exposed to persecution. They were under pressure. Their lives were certainly far from easy. And yet Jesus says of them that they had endured patiently. They had kept on going. They had not grown weary. Satan, of course, would have loved to have seen them packing in the towel, throwing in the towel, packing in the Christian life. But Jesus commends them for their perseverance. And it's interesting, in all of the letters to the 7 churches, in every one of them, Jesus speaks about the one who overcomes. And in overcoming, you have to keep on going. And this is one of the overriding themes of these 7 letters, the need for Christians to keep on going. Jesus says in the Gospels, "He who endures to the end, he who perseveres to the end, will be saved." Now, of course, those who have been truly saved will persevere to the end. But that still involves personal effort on the part of the child of God himself or herself. Satan comes along and he whispers in your ear, "You'd be far better off not being a Christian. You wouldn't have all this pressure. You wouldn't have these standards to live to. You wouldn't have this kind of opposition." And he cannot take away your salvation. But what he would like to do is to sideline you, to put you out of the game, to make you ineffective as a Christian, so that you're contributing nothing to the cause of Christ and to the advancement of his kingdom, to make you sidelined, so to speak, and out of the game. Jesus doesn't want that to happen. He wants you to be like these Christians in Ephesus. He wants to be able to say, "I know you are enduring patiently and bearing up for my name's sake." And there's your motivation, for my name's sake, doing it for Christ. And if you do feel weary in the Christian life, if you feel things are getting tough, remember what Jesus suffered for you. Remember what he was willing to go through. Remember that he endured and he suffered in order that you might be one of his children through faith in him. For my name's sake, keep on going, says Jesus. And brethren, that's what we're called to. We don't experience persecution to the same degree that these 1st century Christians experienced persecution, but we do certainly in different ways experience opposition, pressures brought to bear upon us. It can come from family members, it can come from people that we work with, it can come from neighbours that we live beside, it can come from friends. But listen, it is worth keeping going. And as God's children, we must keep going. And the strength that we need to keep going comes not from ourselves, but from Jesus. He is our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. So let us run with perseverance, with stickability, the race that is set before us, And may these words of commendation that were spoken to this church back in the 1st century AD be words that are spoken of each of us as God's redeemed people. Have a lovely day, and may the Lord be with you. God bless.